really need for you to do is just please talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
Hello, Internet. I am Dominic here with Talk Nerdy to Me's new internet series, which we are calling Extra Nerdy. This is the part of the show where we just kind of take a little extra time to talk about something that we didn't have enough to talk about in the live show every Friday from 5 to 6 on Cave Radio Broadcasting. I'm here with Ash.
Ayo.
We are recording this over Skype. We wanted to have a couple more people with us, but
they're all lazy. They're doing stuff.
We don't know what Marlo's doing. I think Zach is at work right now. So,
yes, and my friends aren't online, so they can't banter back and forth anyway. Aha.
Wahaha. So, let's do a quick timestamp, just so that our viewers at home know when this is that we're talking. This is,
10:42, December 8th, 2015.
Yep.
If that's much of a timestamp as you want.
That's pretty time-stamped.
I'm exhausted, so I'm sorry if I'm not up to par, but I'm trying to sound like I do on the radio. Just a little bit.
I mean, it's 10:43 at night. You know, we're all kind of tired.
But we want to get this done. We want to get content out there. We want to...
Especially because we'll have already talked about this before, both on social media and in the show for this upcoming Friday. But there's like a 2-week lull where we don't have any shows.
Because Christmas is on Friday and then New Year's is on Friday, and I'm not coming in on those days. I'll be either too drunk or too drunk.
I don't even think the studio is open those days.
That's fine.
So if you showed up, you would just be sitting outside,
crying,
sad.
Probably in a pool of my own booze. That'd be great.
Hey, there's a bar right next door, so you're amongst friends.
Existence, Dom. I'm sorry.
So we wanted to start off talking about movies, because that was a topic that we had a lot of fun with on the show.
Yeah, we're Talk Nerdy to Me. Let's talk about nerdy crap and what, like, I don't know. I'm a bookworm, I guess, kind of. So I kind of stole that segue from you, Dom. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I mean, honestly, nothing is more nerdy. I think as movie genres go, the nerdiest movie genre is definitely sci-fi. Yeah, so we should start off with talking about.
I'm reading the book. I'm on page 142, 152, 153.
How many pages are in the book?
I'm about halfway through it. There's about 369.
Okay.
But I'm on Soul 115. And he had just,
Oh, before we go any further, we should probably say we will be involving massive spoilers throughout this conversation.
Yeah, unless you read the book. So, but,
Well,
but the movie's... So, yeah, massive spoiler alert for this. I would recommend reading the book, even if you see the movie first.
Oh, definitely.
It's good. There's a bunch of stuff that you're like, hey, that's different. Like, immediately, because,
Well, that's the case with any book adaptation, I think.
The biggest one, though, is, I'm trying to remember here. The storm hit on, like, Soul 18, right? Movie?
I can't remember. It's been a couple months since I saw the movie.
I think so. I think it was Soul 18, and then, the book begins, and it's log entry for Soul 6, and that's when third paragraph down, he starts with, for the record, I didn't die on Soul 6, so...
Okay.
There's a giant 11-day gap, like 12-day gap between the time spans. But as the movie continues on, the timing gets a little more similar to the book. I will tell you, though, the book is more of him talking himself through, like, the math and stuff like that.
So it's more technical.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it because I'm huge for like sci-fi films. I'm like, it has to make sense. It has to like mathematically make logical sense. But it's like on Sol 37 in the book, like the first page and a half of this, no, the entire Sol entry is like, yeah, this is about CO2. This is the issue I have, and then it's him walking himself through it. And then he doesn't even really start thinking about contact with NASA until way later.
Right.
Because he had just gotten contact. He just updated the rover. I can't remember if they addressed that in the film, because in the book, he's like, I had to type in this code, and then it just kind of made it seem like NASA did a bunch of the work. No.
I think NASA did a lot of the work in the film, too.
Yeah, but that's not the case, because they sent him a message, and using the hexacode, whatever, and he had to type it into the rover file. Wait, no, he did do that in the film.
Right.
But it was kind of like, NASA gave me this code. Well, it's a massive code, and it's just, he has to do a lot of stuff, even though NASA... In the movie, NASA does a lot of stuff. In the book, he does a lot of stuff. And definitely in the book, he seems a little more on his own, and it seems a little more barren. And
which is definitely good for that situation. I do remember in the movie, it seemed like even though he was by himself, surviving by himself, the contact with NASA made it feel less like he was isolated.
Yeah, and the contact with NASA in the movie is so played down from what it is in the book. In the book, he does his thing, and then he says that he goes off and back to the hab, and there's an entire Sol entry of him going, I don't know how I'm going to react when I finally talk to NASA. I don't know how this is all going to be. And then the next entry is just him, crying and just, being so thankful that he's actually got something. It's not much, but that it's something. And that, let me see if I can find it. I'm right on it, so... But, it's like he starts crying and stuff like that. But it made me really excited when he was like, I gotta go find Pathfinder. I'm like, oh, I kind of know where that at. But just it's so slow. Like him talking to NASA the first time. But yeah, he freaks out over the high gain antenna is angled directly at Earth, and there's 3 exclamation points. And he just, here, I don't even know what to say. This was an insane plan, and somehow it worked. I'm going to be talking to someone again. I spent 3 months in the loneliest man in history, and it's finally over. Sure, I might not get rescued, but I won't be alone. And it goes on like that for another paragraph. Oh. And then it says, when I got back, the whole time I was recovering Pathfinder, I imagined what the moment would be like. I figured I'd jump up and down a bit, cheer, maybe flip off the ground because the whole darn planet isn't my enemy. He swears a lot in this book, but it's not unintentional. It's there for a reason. It makes sense, so it's not needless.
Okay.
I figured I'd jump up and down a bit, but that's not what happened. When I got back to the hab and took off the EVA suit, I sat down on the dirt and cried. I bawled like a kid for several minutes. And it's just very emotional, but he keeps it together. And for those of you who think that the jumping back and forth between Earth and Mars, in terms of kind of to see what's going on Earth and what's going on at Mars, and that's just the movie thing. No, that's in the book too. There's sections where it's just from Venkat's perspective, and I thought it was just going to be all these log entries, which I would have been fine with, but it does jump back to experiences on Earth and stuff like that. So,
I guess my question is, is the pacing in the book good for being mathematical and technical? Because that can really make or break a book in terms of how readable it is for me, is if the pacing is done well.
Yeah, he's very much, it's immediately, he's like, I gotta get food, and then a couple souls later, he's like, oh crap, I have potatoes, and then he does a whole bunch of math of that, and then, like, spaced out, it makes sense, because he's like, 40 days to grow potatoes, I got 40 days, da-da-da-da. And so, pacing-wise, it's great. It doesn't go like Soul 18, Soul 19, Soul 20, Soul 21. It's like Soul 18, Soul 19, Soul 21, Soul 27. Like, if there's gaps in him not doing anything, it skips those. It, like, makes logical sense for if you're stranded somewhere and you kept a journal.
Okay.
Like, if you had downtime, you would write about it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Pacing is great. I'm very with it. And if he goes on, like, these long journeys, it'll jump back to NASA or something like that, or it'll do a memory sequence. The pacing makes a lot of sense for what it is.
Yeah.
The movie just makes it seem like it goes boom, 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 whereas the book can go boom, boom, and then there's, like, a lull period of him doing nothing. Like, the hab explodes, and he's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta sit here and just kind of wait. And then it's kind of lulled, and then it's like, all right, pick it back up again. And there's something that's just never not happening, because he's always talking himself through. He's like, I gotta find some way to get the hab, to lower the oxygen levels in the hab. I gotta find some way to keep the potatoes from doing their thing. He's always thinking, and I like that about the book. In the movie, you don't get that as much. I'm like, yeah, he's always thinking, but because NASA comes in so early in the movie compared to the book, like, I'm halfway through the book, and NASA just got contact.
Okay.
So there's a huge segment of just, oh my god, he's just alone.
Right.
I will admit, though, the cinematography in the movie helps with him feeling alone. I'm a huge space film nerd. I'm so bad about it. Like, Interstellar, I cried in that film. I'm not afraid to say it. Like, the cinematography of, like, this is half of Saturn, and then you're just this white, like, pixel on the screen. I'm just like, really makes you feel how small humans are.
I will say, in terms of the cinematography, Interstellar was awesome. In terms of the story, I hate it so much, especially the ending.
A bunch of stuff. I'm like, just calm down.
It took so long before it even got into space. Like,
yeah.
I hated that so much. And then the, like, total crap ending with the black hole. And I was just...
I liked it because that's, like, a legitimate theory in science. I don't know, like, how legitimate, but that's a theory in science. I just don't think they went about it the right way to present this as what is going on because of this theory.
Sorry, well, yeah, at the time we went and saw the film, I was actually taking an astronomy class, and we were actually, like, talking about black holes around the time that the film came out, so I was at least somewhat familiar with some of the theories of what the event horizon was, and so when I went into that film, and I saw what they did with their event horizon, I was like, no, I'm calling BS on that. That is... No.
Well, they created an entirely new engine to render the lighting for that film.
And that's all well and good. I'm just saying, story-wise, everything about that film was really well done. Even the worlds themselves were really cool. The only thing that was bad about that was the story. And really, when it comes to filmmaking, that's kind of a make-or-break thing, because... You know, you can have great visuals, but you were there to tell a story above all else. And if your story is terrible...
They didn't deliver on the story. I think it's that whole where they... Like, you can see it in video game consoles, like the new generation, a lot. First couple of games utilizes the graphics phenomenally. They're beautiful looking, but the story's not that impressive because people just have a disconnect. Oh, well, do we focus on story? We have this new technology. We should use that. And they just don't know where to go. They don't know how to use it equally.
That's pretty true. I mean, to take a look at...
The only good film that I think that balanced that would be Avatar with the aliens and Pandora. But my thing with that is that's just Romeo and Juliet rewritten. That's just Titanic rewritten. But
that's just
okay for
Pocahontas rewritten.
Yeah, essentially. And I was okay with that because it's already a decent story. It held its own. I wasn't going to complain about it, but graphically it looked amazing.
It did. James
So I'm
James Cameron at least deserves some credit for pioneering that.
mhm.
But
I think he was the one that really pushed we need to get like more elegant kind of space shots in here. But still, Interstellar, like when they're passing Saturn, that just is like a gut wrenching shot for me.
it was a very good shot. It was very memorable.
And just like the tears started coming, man. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm allowed to cry, aren't I? It was a good.
You're allowed to have human feelings.
I'm allowed to have feels. I mean, human feelings, nah.